If you're a bivocational pastor, then this special flash episode is just for you. I'm Pete Mitchell, and in between our regular Church Planter podcast episodes, I'll be bringing you insight and ideas to help our bivo pastors have an easier and more profitable go at it. If you'd like more info on the training program specifically for bivocational pastors, you can check it out at missionbybusiness.com. I was thinking about what I wanted to say in this video or this podcast, depending on how you're listening to this. And it kind of hit me. Do you know why I'm an entrepreneur? Do you know why I'm a business owner? There's multiple reasons to that. But at the end of the day, I realized that God led me down a path. And I didn't realize it was God leading me down that path. But he led me down a path. And it's in my obedience to him that I am who I am. And that I choose to be an entrepreneur, that I choose to be a business owner, that I choose, more importantly, to be a Christian business owner, a Christian in business who is trying to convey Christian ideas, Christian principles for both my employees, for my clients, for everybody like that. That's the real heart of it. I think in the past, I would have said the reason why I'm an entrepreneur is because I declared it, right? If you remember Michael Scott in the TV show The Office, you know, he's got all these crazy off-the-wall sayings, but he'd say, oh, I didn't say it. I declared it, right? As if the declaration of something makes it so. Well, the ironic part is, in a lot of our lives, that is kind of how things work. If you decide you're an entrepreneur, well, then you can be an entrepreneur. I mean, that's all it takes. It's literally a decision. You just say, all right, this is what I'm going to do, and you're it. If you're a church planner, I'd say it comes back to the same thing that I was talking about before, and that is, if you're following God's leading, and you choose to be obedient, and you just do it, then you're a church planner. The core of that is, of course, that God's leading you down that path. Now, I think there's a big, huge misunderstanding in the church, with pastors, and they believe, well, if God called me to this, then it should be easy, right? It should be a lot easier than it is. And the reality is that's just not the way things work. It's not that way at all. In fact, I'm convinced that God allows us to struggle so that way we always come back to him, and we will always rely on him. And he becomes our focal point. In fact, it's something that my buddy Dave Negri, he was on yesterday's video and podcast. He actually sent me a message this morning. And in fact, man, where is my phone? Oh, geez, I'm recording this video on my phone. I can't pull it up for you. But he was quoting, and basically it was saying, hey, you know what? Anybody that puts their faith in chariots and in armies, they haven't put their faith in me. In our lives, we know we're supposed to trust in God. Like, we know it. Intellectually, we have the head knowledge for it. But the heart knowledge, man, that heart knowledge, every once in a while, you'll hear a story of someone who does something so outrageous, and you're like, wow, that's someone who really trusts God. I'll give you an example. I remember this one professor I had at Biola University, which is a pretty well-known Christian university. And he was down to like his last $150. Both he and his wife had it. And that's all the money that they had in the world. And he decides, or he's talking with this guy who is here from another country, and he was going through, we're going to be going to Biola, and he's like, man, I don't have the $116 I need to buy the books. And he just kind of felt God pull on his heart saying, pay for his books. Pay for his books. This is a guy who was down to his last $150. He didn't have any more money to give. But he was obedient, and he paid for that guy's books. And I know God took care of him, and I honestly can't even tell you what the rest of the story was, because I remember he was telling us, because he was like, man, and this is what happened next. I mean, out of the blue, something happened for him, and money wasn't the issue that it was. But my point in that story is that God uses those times to really focus our attention on Him. If you're bivocational and you've got your own business, I would argue that the way that you really increase your business, the way that you explode the business in a good way and start getting more clients, more profits, things of that nature, it's going to start with trusting in God and putting your faith in God, that He is going to take care of you and He's going to provide for you. Because here's the reality. If God wants you in that business, at the end of the day, it's His responsibility to bring you clients. Now, that doesn't mean you sit back and do nothing. I'm not a believer and you just sit back and do nothing. God gave us tools, and I believe He expects us to use those tools. But you're not alone in it, is what I'm getting at. You're not alone in it. You've got God with you. It's not like He's sitting there going, oh my gosh, man, I can't believe what just happened to Pete. I mean, what was that guy thinking? You know, I mean, yeah, I'm just going to have to let him kind of fall to the wayside because he's just an idiot. Look at what he's doing. I mean, that's not happening at all, right? God wants you to come to Him. He wants you to come to Him and say, God, I'm struggling with this right now. This is not happening in my painting business or my roofing business or my digital marketing business or whatever it might be. And I need you. I need you to help me right now. And I don't know what that help looks like, Lord, and I don't know the direction you want me to go, but I need you. And I trust that you're going to show up because you've never let me down before. And I don't believe you're going to let me down now. Show me what lesson it is you want me to learn and turn up for me. And I believe God will. That doesn't mean I believe God's going to all of a sudden rain down clients on you. I don't know what God's plan is for you. I'm not a prosperity gospel guy. I don't believe that at all. But I believe that God's going to be with you every step of the way. And at the end of the day, isn't that what we really want? At the end of the day, isn't that what we're really after? It's just to know that we're with God every step of the way, or God's rather with us, or, however we need to say that to be theologically correct. We're not alone. That's what I'm getting at. We're not alone in all of this. So I've put together this great training. You can find it over there at missionbybusiness.com. If you're a bivocational pastor, you're thinking about going bivocational, I highly encourage you to check it out. It's a brand new program, literally brand new. Just put it up last Friday at 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you saw it at 4:20 p.m. Pacific Standard, go back and rewatch it. I think it'll blow your mind. I've been working with bivocational pastors for the last 3 or 4 years now, and I've seen all kinds of guys come through. I've seen guys who were really struggling before and have turned their lives around. And I've seen other guys who started it and petered out. I've kind of been able to get a feel for who I think are going to be good candidates for this and who I don't think are going to be good candidates, because this is certainly not the only option for a bivocational pastor by any means. It's just what I do, and it's what I train guys to do. Basically, how to be a marketing strategist, how to help businesses grow their business. But what that allows you to do as a bivocational pastor is to have a direct impact on your community and to get to know people in your community in a totally different way. And it's not just, oh, well, he's the pastor, let's not cuss around him when he's around. It's, hey, dude, this is a guy who's out here working like us. And he's got this whole God thing. Maybe I could talk to him about that. And isn't that kind of the position we want to be in? We want to be able to share the gospel with people. I mean, I think full-time ministry is great for those that are called to it. But the reality is, the Bivo guy is going to reach more non-Christians by lunch on Monday than the average pastor is all week. Why? Because 2 hours on Sunday, 2 hours on Wednesday, they're in front of other Christians. Not that that's wrong. God's called some people to that job. But I'm saying if you really want to reach the lost, you got to go where no one's going, and you got to do what no one's doing. And what are people in ministry not doing? They're not working with non-Christians. They're not spending 40 to 50 hours a week in the trenches with someone who doesn't know the Lord. But you, bivocational pastor, you can do that. You can choose to spend your time in the trenches. As C.T. Studd said, Some long for chapel or church and chapel bell. I long to run a rescue shop within a yard of hell. That's my hope for you. My hope is you want to run a rescue shop within a yard of hell. You want to be that guy who's right there in the midst of their everyday lives, being an important part of their life. If it is, if you're bivocational, if you want to check out the training, head on over to missionbybusiness.com. There's nothing to buy there. It's a free training. I'm going to tell you all about the training program. I'm going to tell you what the investment is for it. If you've got questions after you see it, great, awesome. There's a button on the screen. You can hit that button. You'll schedule a call with me personally. You will not be allowed to sign up on that call. It is literally a conversational, informal, let's find out if this is going to be a good fit. And that's all you're going to be able to do on that call. If it is, great. You're going to be able to go back, talk to your spouse, pray about it, do whatever you need to do before you finally decide to come into the training. It's a big commitment. It's a big commitment on my part. It's a big commitment on your part, and I want to make sure it's the right decision. So head on over to missionbybusiness.com. I'm Pete Mitchell, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Take care.